Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Neewer RGB 70 watt light. Now this will cost you $220 at the time of the recording of this video. Now I did pay for this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. But first, let's roll the beautiful new intro. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. Inside the box, you're going to get the light with a nice solid cap. You're going to get a reflector dish, and it is of the newer variety. And you're going to get the light itself, and you are going to get the cord, and that is it. This does not come with a case. Now let's talk build quality. The build quality is pretty solid for something being completely plastic. It does have a nice handle on the back. You do have some kind of weird cover thing over the LEDs, so I guess that's okay. And this thing does feel quite nicely. Now, one thing you will note, and I will bring this up so you can see it, is that you do get a nice ratchet handle, and this is a disc system. Thank you, Neewer, for putting in a disc system and not a Rosetta system with the teeth that click. Now, one thing to note, that if you do get this in the wrong position, this is going to actually scratch on the side of the unit. So just make sure when you're tightening this that this does, you do get it into a position where it's not going to scratch the side of your unit. And again, you get this little knob on the side, which is just okay. And the cord plugs in quite nicely. It is a very, very long cord. Stretches all the way to my table over there. So super long cord, which is very nice. And yes, there is an umbrella holder under here as well. Now, let's take a look at slapping the dish on, and I really love this. I mean, this is fairly solid. There is not a lot of play here. There's almost no rattle here. Actually, there is no rattle. It is pretty solid, so yeah, so the dish is not going to rattle on you. The only thing I don't care for is this, is the release button. While I like the fact that it's big, it's a little, I can actually just grab it and twist it a little bit, and it feels a little cheap. But it feels okay. It's just a little thing that's held on by a spring, so it should be fine. Shouldn't wear out too quickly. It is just something to note that it's not the strongest thing, but these usually never are. Okay, so here is your basic controls. You've got this clicky dial here. You've got an up and down arrow, your CCT, your HSI, and your FX. And you do have this weird little dial over here that'll turn on and off your Bluetooth with a red light to let you know that it's on, and you do get the Bluetooth antenna out the back. Now the power button, oddly, is on the bottom here. Strange place for it, but okay, I get it if this is in a studio. So we'll go ahead and flip that on. And this goes from 6,500 Kelvin all the way down to 2,700 Kelvin, so you do get a nice range there. And if you press this in, you get control of the plus minus green, and it does go plus or minus to 50. Now, one thing that's really weird on this light is that I really wish that this controlled the brightness and not the color temperature. When I'm fumbling around in the dark, I have to fumble and feel out these two buttons rather than just grabbing a knob and changing the brightness. So I think that should be reversed. If you do want to change the brightness, you do have to click these buttons or just hold them down. And there you go, it goes all the way to 0. It dims out nicely. It's still a little jumpy, but it dims out nicely. Very nice. Pressing the HSI, you get your typical HSI mode, 360. It's all typical. You press this in to control your saturation, so you can desaturate this or not. And then your brightness, again, is controlled by these clicky buttons. And that's pretty much straightforward. What I do like about this is that once you get to 100, if you click this way, it goes right to 0, or you can go right to 100. So you don't have to dial it all the way back, which I think is great. It wraps around. Going into special effects, let's go to the beginning here. You're going to get this kind of flashy light here. You're going to get a pulse. You're going to get a HSI pulse. You get your cop car. You get your fire. You get your hue. You get CCT, an INT mode. Got your TV, got your explosion, your fireworks, you got your party, you got your lightning, you got your paparazzi, bulb, bomb or explosion, welding, and of course another chase there. So what's really interesting is you only have control over the brightness. There is no other controls for like the speed or the duration of the special effects. So it's a little bit bizarre. And that is pretty much it. There is no menu. I believe if you hold this down, you can select the channel. This is set to channel 6, and you have, all the way up to probably about, looks like 100 channels, up to 99 channels, and that does not wrap around. So you do get channels. Let's set this back to 6 here, and then if you press this in, and I believe that's it. There's just a channel selector. So there you go. There you have it. You can put this on channels. Pretty simple device. Okay, so here we are with the dish on, and I have to say this has a really nice cutoff on the dish. There is no banding or anything like that, so it's very nice, and we do get not really a lot of multiple shadowing, which is great. And let's go ahead and pull off the reflector, and again, really nice, really nice fall off. You're not getting any banding whatsoever, so that's really cool. And again, bare bulb. Again, it's a cob, so you're not really getting any shadowing. So very nice. And moving into the HSI. The HSI looks okay. It looks a little like there's a bit of magenta in the blues, but that just might be the reflection off the curtains, or just might be, to my eye, it looks a little magenta. But there you go. You've got your, let's go ahead full saturation, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other colors here. So really does a really nice job of moving through the colors. So very cool. Okay, so I would like to show you the phone app, but yet again, I like the Neewer light stick, which I reviewed last week right there. I could not get the phone app to work. So I don't know if it's a problem with the phone app. I do know on the light stick on the Amazon page, it says that that's a huge problem. So hopefully Neewer will post a video on how to sync it, because I could not find one online, and the phone app just doesn't sync to these. So that is, unfortunately, I can't show you the phone app. Pros and cons time now. Let's talk about the cons, as we always do. This thing is made of plastic. I'm not a fan of the this release here. It is just okay. This does have special effects. The problem with the special effects is that you cannot control the intervals. You have no control over them. The special effects are the special effects. The only thing you can control is the brightness. So that is a bit of a downside if you want to get creative with this light. It is fairly simple to use. The other downside, and the thing that I wish that they would flip-flop, is I would rather have the dial controlling the brightness, because when I'm in the dark and I'm reaching for something and I want to dim the light, this is what I want to grab for a knob. This is what I want to grab for. But this will change your color temperature, and then pressing that in once will go to your plus minus green. You have to feel around in the dark for these two buttons, or somehow get the phone app, which again, another con, the phone app does not link. I have not been able to get the new phone app to link to any of these devices. So that is a huge downside as well. But everything else seems to work very well. Now let's talk the pros. This is a 70-watt light with RGB. The RGB looks really good. It looks nice. The blue looks slightly magenta, but maybe not. But it looks pretty good on camera. Again, adjust your white balance setting. But this thing is fantastic. You get a ton of special effects. You get a good range of daylight. It is bicolor, so you get a good range of tungsten to daylight. You get HSI, you get some special effects. Then it's got a nice bright screen. This definitely is a studio use thing because it does not come with a case, but it does have a nice, strong computer cord, and it's nice and long. I really love the ratchet system. I really love the disc system here. It is fantastic. You get a ratchet handle, which is very useful. The dish looks very nice, has very nice cutoff when the dish is on. There's no banding with or without the dish. You're not going to get any banding or weird stuff on the edges. There is some kind of weird white thing protecting the protecting the lens here, the LEDs here. All in all, this is not bad. I mean, it's plastic, but it feels pretty strong. Now, it does have a fan, and the fan does get a bit loud, but no louder than like the Aperture 100X or 200X. It really is not too bad. Again, if you're going to stick a modifier on this, and yes, this can take a big modifier because you do have this ratchet system, and really, it's not going anywhere. I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. It's not going anywhere. Of course, you have the optional umbrella holder as well if you want to go that route. So who is this for? Well, this is for everyone. And for $220 at the time of the recording of this video, I really see the only thing that is comparable to this is and it's made by Sakani, it's made by Suit Photo, is their little 60X or 80X, depending on which company you go with, which is a bicolor RGB light. But I have to say that I do like this one. This one feels a little bit more premium than that. That feels a little bit more budget, plus it has a terrible screen. But I will say that that one is quieter. So all in all, not too shabby. This thing is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed considering that this is a newer product. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.